What is up, everybody? Appreciate you for tuning in. We're back with another edition of the On the Ball podcast. Got a lot we're going to get into tonight. Obviously, here with my guy, Brett, not guarding the two, he's guarding the three. How you doing tonight, Brett?
Hey, I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I'm just ready to talk hoops. Let's get it.
Yeah, we got NBA All Star Weekend that just happened that we're going to talk about, and we also have a bit of news in the NFL. Not obviously not too much going on in the NFL right now. Super Bowl over and everything like that. Free agency hasn't really started, but we did get a bit of news about a player that I feel like a lot of teams were hoping would become available. Based on the news from today, might not be as available as some of us thought. Um, yeah, we'll get into that. Let you know that we may have Jordy back on. She might be back on a little bit later. But definitely, and we also have some fun later in the show. You guys know we used to kind of do some trivia and some fun at the end of the show. I feel like we're gonna start getting back to that, especially with the NFL kind of being over for now. Damien, what's going on?
What's up,
Appreciate
Damien?
you in. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. All right, All Star Weekend happened. We saw the new format play out. We had Team Kenny versus Team Charles first. Then we got Team Shaq versus Team Candace, which was the Rising Stars winning team. And ultimately, we had Team Shaq versus Team Charles, with Team Shaq coming out on top of the OGs, which are basically all the older players plus Tatum and Brown. And I feel like since we've come out of that game, we've gotten like some mixed reviews about the new format. Some players didn't like it and have been suggested that, hey, Jory, I see, look, you're getting it straight from
I'm
her.
later. Okay.
Here shortly. Can't wait. Um, we've seen some players not necessarily be fans of it. Anthony, we're going to touch on that. We're going to touch on that, Anthony. But um, we'll start there. Now that we've seen the format play out, are you a fan of it? Do you see places where they could tweak it, or are you done with it already?
I thought it was fun when they actually played basketball and it didn't turn into like a Kevin Hart special featuring NBA players. Like they actually competed at times, and it was pretty refreshing. And then we just stopped the game to give inside the NBA a random tribute, even though I don't think they're actually going anywhere. I think they figured out a way to keep them together, which is kind of unfortunate, but it's I did not mind the new format, but it all comes back down to effort and do the players want to be there, and half of them
Mm-hmm.
don't look like they do. So I don't know. Like I enjoyed when they played basketball at times, and I thought the new format did some. But I really think that they should just go back to the old 2020 format, which was probably the best format and the most competitive All Star game we've had in like 5 years or probably 10 years.
Okay. Yeah, it's. I guess with it being the last All Star game on TNT, it did seem kind of weird that they really were pushing heavy that it was their last time doing it. Now, I know you said about the Inside the NBA will probably be back. I feel like Charles first was like he's never going to work for ESPN. Then they said it was moving to ESPN. He seemed like he was going to be there. But I could have sworn I've seen a clip of him and Ernie's podcast where he said he told ESPN he's out. So if he's out, I don't know what that means for Ernie because we know Ernie has obligations with TNT as well. Kenny, I haven't heard a thing about Kenny and Shaq. I feel like Shaq will be there because the opportunity for Shaq to be in front of a camera, he's not going to turn down.
Yeah.
So if they have to replace like Ernie and Charles to make it happen, I feel like they could probably do that because we know that NBC is trying to like line some stuff up for next season, and ESPN and Amazon haven't really heard much about them. necessarily, but you figured they're gonna have to start lining up some things as well. So I mean, yeah, it was weird with the pauses because I know Tatum and Brown basically said that as well. Like the format's fine, but weird the breaks and when they happened, and then you have to like get gear back up to play again. So
Like, right. Well, like the first team that won is gonna be ice cold for the last game because with the pauses and everything, it's like an hour between when they play.
hmm
So just like okay, and then like nobody seemed into like Kevin Hart like doing his whole spiel. Like I think it had potential, but
yeah,
then just the random breaks and pauses were just absolutely awkward and
hmm
just didn't make sense at all. And I would love it if they did like a 3v3 tournament. It's called Unrivaled, and it's absolutely fantastic, John.
yeah, and so I guess we'll see if they're willing to keep this format. I don't know. Maybe that would that be up to like NBC and ESPN on whether they want to keep it like this or whatever. But I was fine with it. It seemed like they did try a bit more. I mean, I'm almost at the point where I don't know if they'll ever get more engagement from the players than they did. I do know it's been floated out there. USA versus the world, which apparently Giannis is like all for. But I think the tricky part is how do you set that up for voting? And aren't there more like USA players than necessarily international players that should be all star worthy?
Yeah, but like if we took like the 12 best international players versus like the 12 best like American players, I feel like the 12 best international players would absolutely dog walk the American players. It wouldn't be pretty.
Which I mean, if that's the case,
Like,
we know a lot of these American players aren't going to sit there and go for that if like 5 6 years straight international players are just
right,
dominating them.
like just think about like the American like your top 10 players list for a second and look at how many of them are international and you'll realize like, oh, okay, you got international team where you got Giannis, Joker, Wemby, SGA, Luca, and you got like the top 5 players in the NBA damn near right there, arguably. Like, and then you got other guys like Sabonis,
hmm
technically say, but yeah, we go down the list. Like I think a USA versus the world format would be fun, but I don't know if they'd go for it because I think deep down, like Team USA knows it just wouldn't go well for them.
But that may actually bring out the best of it, though. The fact that American players will go into it in a game that's supposed to be theirs, and you're not the favorite. The international players will go into it and be like, "Look, we can dominate the U.S. players. It kind of make the league ours." That might create the enough of a not hatred, obviously, but enough drama that maybe the players go. I don't know because I feel like the bar isn't even that high. I think to the average fan, if the fourth quarter it turns into like legit defense and trying, I think people will be fine with that. You know, the older fans obviously are going to keep pining for the yesteryear when guys win added 4 quarters for like East
But
West pride. That's
okay,
done with. We're not getting that.
but let's be real because like that almost felt like a big reason why like they loved it back in the day was just because they picked up the intensity in the fourth
hmm
quarter. Let's be real; those guys didn't go at each other all game either.
Yeah.
Like we had Shaq throwing down like friggin' 360s. That doesn't happen if they're going at each other all game.
hmm
But that's why I really like the Elam ending that they added in 2020 in honor of Kobe. Like fourth quarter, play to a target score, and you know
hmm
that's that's the end score because guys really went at it. They really got after it there in the fourth quarter, and I don't know why they went away from that. I really don't. But I thought that was actually a great solution, and it worked for 1 year. And then they're just like, "Yep, we're done with it."
Yeah, because I feel like when they did that, people were just talking about like Why do we have to just stop the game at a certain score? Why not just let it play out? I feel like at a certain point, a lot of NBA fans are never going to be happy, no matter what they do. Like if they go back to the Elam ending, the same people who had a problem with it the first time. Because I agree with you, I didn't hate that format either. I think no matter what the format is, the players have to care. And all this talk about, whether it's, you know, KD or whoever talking about, they hate this the switching the formats and everything like that. All you have to do is look in the mirror. The players are the ones who are forcing these constant changes. If they acted like, they weren't too cool to guard somebody, or, guys just coming across half court and like the lane just opening wide for them to just try like practice dunks, like nobody wants to watch that. Especially if you're just gonna sit there and make it go 200 to like 195. Like that's a lot to sit through and just be like, okay, nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody really cares. Like, I, yeah, I feel like, look, if they want to try the U.S. versus the world, fine, try it. I don't care. Like I said, I
Yeah,
thought this format wasn't terrible because I think the good part was the Rising Stars team is always going to try to knock off one of the NBA rosters, whoever they go up against. So at least in that game, you're going to get full intensity. Now, when it comes to the two NBA rosters going up against each other, I guess it's a crapshoot. But I don't know. It's the Pro Bowl is more interesting than the All Star game. I mean, look, the flag football game that people hated, the players seem to be having a lot more fun with it, and all the skills challenge stuff. Like the NFL players seem to be going for it. NBA, sure. MLS are doing MLS players versus the world and it's working for them. I don't see why it wouldn't work for the NBA or the
I
NFL. Well,
I think
NFL, you're not going to get enough players to field a world team
I think
necessarily.
it would work for the NBA though,
Hmm.
because straight up, if the team, USA didn't try, they're just going to get cooked like
Hmm.
very badly, and it's going to be a huge bruise on their ego. So it
Yep,
would put them in a position where they would have to try. Otherwise, you're going to be like, "Hey, look at that, LeBron, KD, congratulations on getting smoked by 35."
exactly. And Damien, I agree. Like I watch the MLS All Star Game a lot, and it's for that very reason. Like you get to see like a lot of guys on the world stage that you may not necessarily see, which I think makes it better. And with the MLS trying to replicate the world stage and try to build themselves up, I feel like that creates that intensity from the MLS side. So I agree, it works for them. If that, well, I guess the crazy part is I thought the players wanted this one, but now it's like they got it and they don't want it. So what exactly do they want?
I don't think the format was bad. I think that they
I
just
don't
got to
either.
do better on the breaks. Like,
Yes.
I genuinely think they would have liked it more if it wasn't literally like 30 minutes of basketball and like 2 hours of commercials and whatever Kevin Hart was doing. Like, I genuinely think that they would have liked it if they would just actually like focus it on the basketball.
Hmm. Which I think like Tatum and Brown and some guys have said. Like Trey Young automatically just coming out saying, I don't like it. Number one, Trey Young,
You weren't even supposed to be
I,
there. Like,
I'm,
whatever.
I'm not basing my decisions off of Trey Young liking it or not. Like, we're not doing that. So he can hate it all he wants. I mean, he wasn't supposed to be there in the first place, but Um, I guess before we keep going with it, John has so the Sixers signed a new player, 2 years, 3.7 million. Does it remind you of just another Ben Simmons? Needle doesn't, don't even move. Lonnie Walker. I mean, you have any thoughts on the Lonnie Walker signing with the Sixers?
It excites me as much as just it doesn't. I'm about as excited as my dog right now, and he's passed out on his bed. it doesn't move the knee. Like, I'm glad Lonnie's getting another chance in the league, but like, what's Lonnie Walker really doing for them? Nothing.
Right. Like he's not going to turn their season around. Like they are what they are.
Yeah, they just got to shut down George and Embiid and try again next year at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Look, whatever is going on with them, it is what it is. Like I said. See, only hearing about this because of what's happening this past week with the Four Nations Face-Off hockey tournament, which I have been watching, and it's been compelling.
Yeah,
And
we
a lot
should
of people
just.
thought the players weren't going to care in that either. Well, go watch USA and Canada where they fight 3 times in the first 9 seconds and tell me.
Maybe that's the solution. We just got to let the NBA players fight.
Joe Mazzulla's telling them. What's that funny about All-Star Weekend is players complaining about the dunk contest like if they really care about dunking.
Hey, you know what? Actually, you know what? Ja teasing he might be in it. Levine.
Ja better not pull a LeBron. Remember when LeBron teased it and then didn't enter?
He will.
You tease it. You better do it.
Ja's not going to be in the dunk contest, but you know what? At least makes a fun talking point. Maybe.
But these guys can't keep doing that.
Their ego's too big. Their ego is too big because how's it going to look to them when Ja goes to the dunk contest just to get smoked by future 4-time winner Mac McClung?
Like the fact that Mac McClung is dominating the dunk contest should bring these guys out of the woodwork to go beat them. Like, I mean, we'll talk about CB3 too here in a little bit, but that's my thing. It's like, hey, look, I give Mac McClung all the credit in the world. He, with the dunk contest on life support, he's at least given it some life. And I mean, it's unfortunate, I guess, people kind of mock it because he's a G League player, but like, I don't care. If he continues to go out there and continues to want to do it, it continues to bring some excitement. More power to him. I hope he continues to do it. Because if these stars like Morant or Ant, I heard them ask Ant about it, and Ant was like, I don't have tricks though. So I wouldn't do one. He's like, what am I gonna do? Just a tomahawk dunk? As bad as the dunk contest is, if Anthony Edwards showed up and just did a tomahawk dunk, they'd probably give him a 50 for it. Just off name recognition, just off the fact that the amount of people who would be excited just to see Anthony Edwards dunk would be crazy. And I mean, Ant loves posterizing people. Just bring random people out and dunk on them all night. I don't care. Do that.
Yeah.
That would be exciting.
It's one of those things I wish, but it just won't happen. I feel like these guys just think it'll hurt their brains and bruise their ego if they don't win. That's why we'll never see like the one-on-one competition. They're teasing it again. One-on-one tournament, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Do you really think that someone like Anthony Edwards is really going to be happy when he goes out to this 1v1 competition just to get like absolutely smoked by some hooper that wants that, a 1v1? Because they're like, people got to understand, like, the difference between 1v1 and 5v5. There's some really good 1v1 hoopers that aren't great at 5v5. Name, for example, Michael Beasley apparently would beat 2013 Miami Heat LeBron in 1v1s, but nowhere near the talent in 5v5.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm assuming not every All-Star would join, so we just get some random hoopers in there that just love the ball. So, like, would these guys really happy when they're all of a sudden getting dog walked by Cam Reddish in a game of 1v1? Probably not.
Yeah, probably
and let's be real. And it's funny, people are going to laugh at that, but Cam Reddish, 6'8", can pretty much shoot over anybody. He's a very good 1v1 hooper. He just ain't a role player 3-and-D guy like they want him to be, and that's fine. But put him in a 1v1 tournament, it's probably upsetting a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That's like the thing, I guess, when you look at today's athlete versus yesterday and past athletes. a lot of them, if they were to get beat by a lesser player, it would just drive them to be better than that person next year, not have it happen again. Whereas today's athlete would never put themselves in that situation because they know social media would kill them. They'd see clip after clip making fun of them, TikTok, Instagram, all that, and they don't want that, which is kind of sad when you think about it. But hey, it's all about branding, whatever. I will say, Castle. I thought Castle was okay. For him, first time on that stage, I wouldn't mind seeing Castle back in it. I guess to fill out the rest of the roster, I don't know. I mean, even Jackson. I feel like Jackson probably could be good at it with like another year. Like now that he's done it the first time, maybe he'd be better next time. But yeah, I don't know.
Wouldn't count on it. Andre Jackson Jr. is seems like a very nervous guy in general. That same thing that plagued him in the Badunk contest is like what plagues him in actual games too. He just looks like he gets nervous and indecisive, and it looks like the nerves got to him in the dunk contest too.
Yeah. Don't want to lose that stature. What if Melo goes out there and destroys Giannis? What are people going to say about Giannis then? I feel like Giannis would be the type who, if he were losing, would probably just clothesline somebody.
I feel like Giannis would actually be great. Like Giannis is fun because I feel like he would just bring out the absolute best in everybody because like he's too competitive to lose. So like it would take like an absolute force of nature to absolutely knock him off.
Yeah.
If they do like a 1v1, you would have to almost do like a 5-second shot clock or 3 dribbles or something because giving NBA players 12 seconds to work the entire court would just be absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. I think you would have to do a short shot clock. Yeah. So let's see. Talk about the format. Talk about Mac McClung. Like I said, shout out to that guy. He should be a fixture until these guys actually step up and do it. So I guess looking at. Oh wait, Anthony did bring up CP3, so we got to talk about this.
Listen, I will say I actually loved CP3. Listen, you want competition? This man is so competitive. He found a loophole in the skills competition. That is competitive nature. That is wild, and I love it. Actually, people can hate on what CP3 and Wemby did, but I thought it was genuinely fantastic.
Right, and I feel like for me, it was hilarious to see that they got disqualified for it, and then like the bewilderment on CP3's face when they were like, "Yeah, you've been disqualified," and he's just like, "For what?" And like the guy going to get like the rule sheet, it showed him like right there, it says you got to whatever, and they were just like, "What?" So yeah, I mean, if you were gonna say like somebody was gonna try to find a loophole, CP3 is that person. Like that's a guarantee. I think watching the skills challenge though, I was wondering, is that something that maybe they need to go back to like the 1-on-1 where 2 guys are going at it to see who has the faster time and then the other one's eliminated? Where they had like the big man and the guards or whatever go at each other. I wonder if they should go back to that. I kind of like that part of the skills competition better than necessarily like the tag team relay race that they do now. I mean, it's not a bad like format either, but Giannis versus shot free throws. Okay, I think it was Shaq, but Giannis versus Shaq.
Shaq would wipe him. I mean, not Giannis would wipe Shaq. That's what I meant.
Although Shaq swears like when he needs to make them, he makes them. Like, okay, Shaq.
I'll go by what I know with that, right? Shaq 52% free throw shooter for his career. Giannis 69. So
yeah,
like, and I could say the same thing about Giannis too. So.
Okay, got a question from John. Do you think the Celtics are still the better team, not record-wise? And do you think the Kings missed the playoffs? Okay.
Better team than who?
So I think he's saying are the Celtics, because I know Vegas has the Celtics as the favorites to win the title. So I guess John's asking, are they still the best team, and are the Kings going to miss the playoffs?
Oh, are the Celtics the best team? Yeah, I'm gonna go with yes. They're down year. They're still, you know, they're having a down year, which is most teams like dream years. It's still a very talented team. They
Mm-hmm.
got insane levels of shot creation at pretty much every position.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing in front of them right now are the Cavs, who have like this insane like pace that nobody saw coming. Like nobody expected the Cavs to be 44-10,
Mm-hmm.
but the
Right.
Celtics at 39-16. Yeah, I think that's very good for them. I still think they're the best team, and I think the only team you could argue that's better than them, probably in the West, you can argue OKC's better than them. But I think that's really the only argument that I would personally make. But I think at worst, they're still the second team best team, but I would still put them as the best team in the NBA.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely think like the Thunder are the toughest team out west. I think the Cavs, like if the Cavs play, I don't know, because the Celtics have beaten the Cavs like 2 out of 3 already this season. I think the Cavs, if you look at them on paper and like the types of guys that they have, you feel like they would be the biggest test to Boston in the East. I know a lot of people loved what the Knicks did. I don't think that's a good matchup for the Knicks with the Celtics. I continue to say the Bucks because of Giannis are, but I think outside of Giannis, I think the Celtics have the advantage. So I would still take the Celtics. I think Cleveland is intriguing. They add DeAndre Hunter, which at least gives them another body to throw at Tatum and Brown, who could also score. Like he's averaging 19 a game this year. Like that's a great pickup for them. I would still say Boston's the favorite and the best team in the league, but I think Cleveland and the Thunder can make it interesting. I mean, the Cavs have to do it in the playoffs too. Like we got to see that. Like it's one thing to do in the regular season, but playoffs, like you have to kind of keep the same energy and everything. Because sometimes with Donovan Mitchell teams,
I,
fourth quarter when the games are tight, his teams kind of turn into like him at the top, everybody's kind of just standing there, and Donovan Mitchell having to make like tough shots down the stretch. Like, I feel like if they get away from that, I think the Cavs would be better in the playoffs. But we'll have to see it first. I mean, Atkinson's doing a great job in Cleveland, though.
no, absolutely. And do the Kings miss the playoffs? That
Yeah, I mean, because right now
well,
they're in the play-in range. So I guess if you think they don't, who replaces them? And I think the obvious, well, I think the choice that a lot of people might say maybe the Spurs, but
I
that's like what a 3.5 game difference, which it's not too bad.
I think they'll be safe because I think they'll be able to jump the Mavericks, and I think the Mavericks will be the one to fall out of the play-in.
Do you think the Spurs will replace the Mavericks, or I mean, I know the Suns are in between them, but
I,
I mean
I
the
think
Suns
it's just going to be straight up Phoenix.
okay.
I think Spurs very realistic chance, but they did just get new pieces at the trade deadline. That might be a team where next year they really take off.
Yeah.
But say we also know that De'Aaron Fox is dealing with kind of an injured finger he's been running with for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to say that it's probably just Phoenix overtaking them, and I think the Spurs have a real chance. But I think the Kings will find a way to sneak in as like the 10th seed.
Okay. I guess looking also there, since this brought up the Warriors. They got Butler. It seems like for a couple of games they look kind of re-energized with Butler. How far do you think they climb? Because right now they're sitting at 10. Do you think there's a chance the Warriors can make the top 6?
I think they'll be like the seventh seed. Like, I think that I think can pass up the Timberwolves, Mavericks, Kings. Like, I think they can pass up those three, but I don't think they'll catch the Clippers.
Okay. Give me Portland with a wild finish to make it barely, only because of a tiebreaker. If Portland makes the play in, that would be, yeah, that'd be interesting. Let's see. Oh yes, I did have a question about, I guess, kind of along the lines of this. I guess looking ahead to the second half of the unofficial second half of the season, is there a team or a storyline that you're kind of watching as, I guess, we're entering like the marathon part of the season, sprinting to the playoffs? Like I said, is there a team, storyline, or something that you think might be the most intriguing for the second half?
Not really in the East. Obviously, I think the Spurs and Trailblazers are fun to watch in the West.
Okay.
Um, the Rockets, I think, are it'll be interesting to see if they can maintain the pace that they've been on. Um, it's there's reason to be skeptical. They have like the highest offensive rebounding percentage of every single team of any single team in like the last 11 years.
Mm-hmm.
So you could argue that like they might that that might come down and they might regress a little bit, but overall, I think all the teams in the playoffs, either they're already they're I've been watching them for a while, or I just
Mm-hmm.
flat out don't care. But yeah, I think with me, it's just I think it's really the fun our teams. The fun ones are the young ones when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
these teams, the Trailblazers and the Spurs.
Yeah. Okay. Uh, storyline: will Dallas make another move after AD injured? I think at this point, Dallas has to tread water until AD comes back.
Just just sit everybody tank because
Yeah, the problem is like AD's not the only big man hurt. Like their whole front court's hurt at this point. So
their starting center right now is either Kessler, Edwards, or Omax, and if
mm,
they are starting for your team in 2025, you're just cooked.
right. So they're gonna need some of those big men to come back quickly if they think they can save the season. I do agree. Maybe that's where maybe they just end up dropping like a rock at this point. So John says Lakers, Heat, Detroit would be the ones I would say. I guess teams to watch. Heat, I'm no, I'm not. I'm not doing. Nope, no, I'm not.
I'll buy in on Detroit being fun to
Yes,
watch.
yeah,
The Lakers will be interesting because to see how Luka and LeBron integrate together.
yeah. The highlight of the Heat season will be um, homeboy. Oh, Hero winning the 3-point contest. That's the highlight for them.
Heat culture, baby, woo!
Yeah. Maybe the Pistons are a Cinderella story. I mean, look where they were before this season, and now they're in the playoff picture.
I mean, this is what happens when you get modern 3 point spacing and a coach that actually doesn't suck.
Mm-hmm.
Like Dwayne Casey was terrible. Like let's be real. Like there were spacing issues with that team last year, but that was just like magnified by the fact that you could tell that Casey did not want to be there at all. So I think even just getting a coaching staff that
Monty was
wants to be
terrible too.
there. Yeah, my bad. Yeah, but getting a coaching staff that actually wants to be there, mixed in with just upgrades like Tobias Harris and guys like Malik Beasley and just spacing the floor better.
Mm-hmm.
I will admit, they're doing way better than I expected. I thought that this was going to be a 28 win team, and they're already at 29 wins at the All Star break. So
Yeah,
they could lose every single game for the rest of the year, and I say, yeah, you know what, they did great.
yeah. Damian, I don't think so.
Um, every single team, pretty much every single team in the NBA would fire their coach just to get Spoelstra.
Yeah. Yeah.
Spolstra is not the problem.
Nope. Not at all.
If you
Yeah.
want to argue the problem in Miami, it's probably more like them not having that guy. But like in all reality, when they had that guy in Jimmy, if you want to blame somebody, look at Pat Riley. What did he put around Jimmy to really maximize what he was doing? A bunch of second round picks and undrafted free agents. So if you want to think that, and I know he's not going anywhere, but I think if scapegoating Eric Spolstra for this whole situation just isn't the right move because he's
Hmm.
not the guy that assembled his own roster. He would just work with what he got, and he way overachieved too. So
Yeah. Yeah. I think. Well, I guess going with John's other point here and Damien, because I agree, Spoelstra's not going anywhere. Riley will probably retool and we'll kind of see where that is in the next couple of years. I'm hoping Detroit stays in the top six. I wouldn't expect probably much from them in the playoffs, especially like looking right now. They played the Knicks. I think that would make it interesting with the Knicks for sure. And look, I would be rooting for Detroit to win a playoff series. What Houston? I think Houston is interesting as well. Houston started off really well. They were like one or two seed in the West for a little bit there. They fall in the fourth, which for them it would be a big step if they could stay in the top six as well. Another team, I don't know if I would expect them to spend a long time in the playoffs, but at least they would get there. And you said the Pacers as well started off kind of slow, and they've become the fourth seed in the East all of a sudden. I don't know if I'm the Pacers, I might. I mean, if I'm the Pistons, I should say, I wouldn't mind facing the Pacers in the first round. So if the Pistons can get up to fifth, Pacers stay at fourth. Why not? I mean, Bucks Knicks first round if the Bucks fell to sixth, I'd sign up for that. Giannis versus Cat for maybe 6 7 games.
huh, I'll take on anybody. As a Bucks fan, I welcome the challenge. Bring on anybody.
Yeah. I guess Damien. We're getting
No,
Ogbechebe versus Moose. Okay,
got ourselves a moose sighting on NXT.
there you go. Knicks gonna have the same problem as last year, overworking their. Hey, that's a Thibodeau staple right there. Thibodeau looks at bench depth as insurance if somebody gets hurt in the starting lineup. Yeah, those guys are going to play like 35, 36, 37 minutes. Easy. I mean, yeah, I don't know. It, I guess he uses all season to condition them for the playoffs, but that is a lot to ask of those five guys once you get to the playoffs to continue that. So, um, um, so yeah, I mean, I don't know. Thibodeau, this has kind of been his thing. I feel like you don't hear many Knicks players upset about it. So I guess
Oh,
they're fine with it. And
of
I'll give
course.
like I won't say he's just gonna run the 5 stars in the ground. He's gonna go about 6 7 as his rotation.
Yeah, of course. I mean, of course they're fine with it until it's the playoff time and everybody has a strained hamstring.
Yeah. I don't understand how he hasn't like come off of that yet.
I thought he would have come off of it after the whole Derrick Rose incident in 2011, but
Yeah.
man
Or
just
like
arrived.
last year. They ran out of gas.
Yeah, it's a constant theme with Thibodeau-led teams.
I mean, they're waiting for Mitchell Robinson to get back. Which I mean, good luck. I did think it was weird that they were quiet at the trade deadline. They didn't really do anything other than send Sims to Milwaukee.
Say Damien, you want the Bulls to tank. You don't want them to make the play-in. Like, what does that do for them?
Right.
Like, make the play-in and like this is a really loaded draft class, but obviously there's some insane talent at the top end of it. It's obviously
Mhm.
with Cooper Flag leading the way. Like, you want to give yourself the best chance at a talent like that if you're the Chicago Bulls instead of making the playoff or play you just get absolutely walked down and now you've just kind of tanked your. You've had a mediocre season with a 13th pick.
Right. Yeah. Because I feel like the way the Bulls operate, like if they made the play in, they might think they're on the right track or something. Like you don't like you want them to finish as low as possible, so then they kind of feel forced to make drastic changes.
Granted, I don't even know if we can trust the Bulls in the lottery because I think remember last time I saw them with the top 5 pick, they picked up Patrick Williams and then extended him.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, some of these teams, man, it's just like how, especially a team like Chicago, where you get the Jordan dominance, then you had like the Derrick Rose years, which didn't last long, but they were at least fun times. And now it's like, who are you supposed to hitch this wagon to? Like you don't
Say,
want to do it with Levine necessarily. Like he needs to go. Vooch needs to go.
say,
Kobe White.
they're, yeah, they're in an awkward spot because, like, obviously they already shipped off Levine, so it's like,
Oh
okay,
yeah, I
well,
forgot he's back with his running buddy in Sacramento.
so I trust the Bulls more than the Wizards.
Mm, that's like
Like, I
six in one hand, half a dozen in the other.
like not like maybe like I guess it's weird because this is absolutely comparing like terrible to like slightly less terrible.
Right. What is the reason to tank though when the lottery draft picks where you draft? I swear the lottery draft needs to be dead.
You want to give yourself the best chance at that number 1 pick.
Mm-hmm.
Like not a lot of teams get lucky like and get that number 1 pick from like less than 1% odds. I
Yeah.
think it rarely happens. I think the Hawks just did it, but
Mm-hmm.
all I'm waiting for from the Hawks, and this is going to be the funniest thing ever, I want them to win the lottery again just because it'd be hilarious.
I don't because the people down in Atlanta get all excited because they win the lottery, only for them to just turn around and be a 500 team at best. Like
But
I'm good.
I just think it'd be funny because they don't have their pick. It'd be the Spurs getting the number 1 pick because of the DeJounte Murray trade.
God, actually, that would be kind of funny. um,
They get the number 1 pick in what people call the arguably one of the worst drafts ever. Then in one of the best, they do it again, but they don't have the pick.
yeah, that would be in the Hawks' fortune for that to happen. Oh, here we go. Gonna bring her on. Hey, Jory.
What's good, Jory?
Hi. What's good? I got my third host.
Hey, Bella.
What's up, Bella?
So I will say, if Adam Silver or anybody in the NBA watches this, I have floated this out there for a couple of years. What if the teams that don't make the playoffs, you put them in their own tournament to earn the number 1 pick? That's what I want to see. I would watch that. Give me
Me
Wizards
too.
versus Blazers for the chance at the 1 pick. I'm all there. Jordan Poole balled his hand 5 seconds left to win the number 1 pick for the Wizards.
I mean, if you let Adam Silver hear it, that man loves tournaments, so maybe. But also, I think the problem with that though is like if you're the Wizards and like Jordan Poole, for example, if they win the number 1 pick, you're getting replaced by Cooper Flag. So like, what's the incentive for these guys to try really hard? Like, yes, I want to win so the team can draft my replacement. Like,
I mean,
I think that would be the big flaw. Like, either guys would be free agents and not really care, and then the guys on the team would be like, I'm not doing this. Like, I'm not trying to fight for my replacement?
I think it would be high drama. I just think it would be great.
Oh, I think it would be fun, but you'd literally have to bring up like G leaguers to do it because nobody on the team would actually participate in it.
Wizard Pelicans final for the one pick. Like,
And then you see guys like Emmanuel Mudiay and like Alfred Payton out there.
Mm-hmm.
you think that's the game Zion would play in?
And no, because he'd be hurt.
Right now,
He'd be hurt by that point.
I think they should try it. Like you said, Adam Silver loves a tournament and he loves tweaking. That would be gold to see. But Jory, I mean, since you are back on, we held off on a couple of topics for you. So I think we're gonna go back to the All-Star game for a little bit here. Let's start with LeBron. LeBron became the story of All-Star Weekend as he waited until game day, a couple hours before we got the news that he was not going to play, which obviously blocked somebody else who could have gone in and played instead of him. I've heard some people say it's like some conspiracy where the league knew about it, but waited until everybody was like in the arena and hyped about it to then announce it. That's one thing. And then a lot of people are saying LeBron was selfish to do what he did. Where do you sit on this one?
He was 100% wrong to do that.
Okay.
Like, if you wanted to the feeling of being an all-star,
yeah,
he could have did what Giannis did. Giannis was still in the picture in his uniform.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't
and
like
we
that
knew
either.
he wasn't going to play. And he was replaced by Trae Young. We knew that. LeBron could have easily did that. But he didn't. He waited until the last minute because he wanted a spectacle, and now he got it. He was dead ass wrong. That's a punk move.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody else could have had that. Norman Powell could have had that spot. And to the argument of nobody wants to see Norman Powell in the All-Star game, who cares? He earned a spot. And if just because the voting didn't turn out in this way, if LeBron was unable to go or unable to play, he should have given his spot up to somebody who was able. He's been to it 20-something damn times.
Yep.
Like, let's you all for the next face of the league, but then you do BS like this.
Another conspiracy. I'm starting this now. He probably heard if he sat out and Norman Powell was going to go in, he's like, I'm not giving my spot to a Clipper. No. So he decided to stay. The picture thing was ridiculous. I don't care about your foot or ankle. You could put on the jersey and take the picture. It's not that difficult.
Yep.
Man really said, I ain't letting nobody named Norman replace me. Get out of here. That sounds like an accountant. Was it selfish? Absolutely. If he did it just to block a Clipper, I can honestly respect. That's just next level hating.
Mm-hmm.
And I can respect it. I can respect the pettiness, but in all reality, yeah, that was just kind of a dick move by Brock.
Yeah. It's like, and the fact that now we have to like talk about that after the fact is crazy.
And that's my favorite part too, the fact that he didn't even take the time to put on the jersey for the picture. And like people are trying to compare it when Kobe like took a picture with the All-Star team in his suit. And I'm just like, yeah, but Kobe stood off to the side, like they put Brown like dead in the middle, like he is the focus of the picture. It's not like Kobe where like if I looked at Kobe in that picture where the people are referencing, I would think he's one of the coaches. Mm-hmm. But they made Bron just, here's LeBron James in street clothes. He ain't playing, but like I think that picture just made everything 100 times worse.
He ruined the picture. Everybody in their jersey, and look at this man dressed in nudes.
Just, but we know, he has a strong fan base that will defend him to the death. So we already know how that works.
I'd be so mad ruining my picture like that.
Yeah. And John, as John put here, he's supposed to be the face of the NBA. I'm ready for him to ride off in the sunset.
Well, he just got Luka, so get ready for 3 more years of LeBron, buddy.
Yeah.
It's like when a groundhog sees a shadow.
The only man who could save us now, JJ Redick. If JJ just goes off on LeBron, makes LeBron uncomfortable, LeBron wants to leave. That's your best bet. But
Nah, you know what happens if that happens. LeBron's like, yeah, I want him gone. Next day, yep, JJ Redick's fired.
Yeah.
And that would be a mistake if my Lakers fell to that crap again.
Mm-hmm. I mean, look, Draymond's talking about being coach of the Warriors. Like,
Dude,
at this point, like make LeBron the next coach of the Lakers. He'll coach Bronny, Bryce. It'll be a family affair.
I hope that he becomes the next coach of the Lakers, and I hope they sign him to like a 50-year contract, with the stipulation being keep your ass out of the TNT booth.
Mm-hmm.
I already listen. I've already made my feelings very clear on Inside the NBA. I don't like it. I think it spews a lot of terrible narratives and just hate towards the game.
It
because
does.
Shaq has to be just an absolutely generational hater on everybody for no reason. Same with Chuck. And Draymond's just worse. He spends his time, the game sucks, it's boring, it's just who's athletic and can shoot threes. Like,
I didn't get what he was getting at.
Yeah,
I was just run up and down. And okay, so
and that's why Oscar Robertson responded the way he did.
Hilarious what he said.
Yeah, like it's annoying because I respect Draymond. Like, dude, I've already heard enough from you. Like, I hope you never touch another analyst booth again. I really would rather listen to LiAngelo rap Tweaker for 3 hours straight rather than listen to you for 10 minutes in a booth because you're not spitting. Mm-hmm. It's you, like the last time we saw him in the playoffs, it's you telling people off screen, yelling at the crowd that Gobert sucks. Okay, well, the man's a 4-time DPOI, averaging 10 a game, and is a one-man army when it comes to anchoring top 10 defenses. So, no, he doesn't suck. And I get it. I know people see something with me and go, well, when's the last time you played ball? High school? You're fat. Like, yeah, I get it. That's all true, but it doesn't change the fact that at least I try to be fucking positive about this. I love basketball, and it pisses me off seeing guys like Draymond, Chuck, and Shaq just have to be so negative and just act like they don't understand a thing. Like, Anthony Edwards just shoots threes. Why? Well, he just shoots too many threes. Maybe it's because of the team compositions, dumbass. You're supposed to be an NBA champion 10 years ago, and you're telling me you don't understand that Anthony Edwards isn't shooting a lot of threes because he's playing with Rudy Gobert, Julius Randle, and Jaden Daniels, and Mike Conley didn't forget how to shoot? Like, it's annoying. Like, you guys can give us such great analysts. Like, you guys can give us insight that nobody else should be able to give us. You played the game at the highest level, and yet it's like you don't even understand the game. And that's probably the fundamental issue right there. Shaq's like, big man, dump the ball into the post. Does Wemby look like Ralph Sampson or Al Jefferson to you? No. And I think that's the problem is these inside the NBA guys, they don't understand the game anymore. Draymond, he's just trying to be like them, but the reality is them, they're passed by. They're old news. They just don't understand how the game works anymore.
Yeah. And Charles basically tells us that he doesn't really watch NBA. Because you hear him, he'll talk golf that he watches. He'll say he watches NHL. You very rarely hear him say that he's watching NBA games. Most of the time, when they talk about like the Tuesday lineup on NBA TV, he's like, "Oh God, who's gonna watch that game?" Y'all are there to promote it, but he's gonna be the loudest one talking about, "I wouldn't watch those two teams play." Like we're robbing America, or when he does his who he played for, he never knows who any of the players play for because he doesn't keep track of any of that. Like I agree with you. Like it was a show like when it first came on, groundbreaking. Everybody loved it. Now after all these years, it's like Charles and Shaq have become way too big on that show. Ernie is supposed to try to keep the peace, but for what? At what cost? Like Ernie will go, let's go to the highlights, and Shaq and Charles will be like, "Oh, I don't want to watch those highlights."
Or he'll still be complaining
on the show.
Yeah, right. Or he'll be complaining about some narrative that just completely irrelevant. Like when Celtics Wolves was going on, he's sitting there complaining about JJ Redick. What's he said about him? Like nobody cares. JJ Redick was right about you guys.
Yes.
You're just a bunch of grumpy old man going, young punks, get off my 3-point line. Like, what? Why do I care?
And all Shaq has turned into is Charles's sidekick. He just feeds into Chuck just to get Chuck to go off. And a lot of times, all Kenny does is he runs to the wall, they
Instigate.
try to beat him, he comes back, and then that's like all you get from Kenny.
Like, I got as much NBA insight from Kevin Hart as I probably have the inside the NBA crew all year.
Yeah.
And that's saying something.
Yeah.
And all Kevin Hart said was SGA should grab the ball and attack. Like, that's literally like surface level Twitter BS that I see on Twitter, but it doesn't really get much deeper than that on Inside the NBA. So,
yeah.
Like the thing they did with the whole JJ thing. I'm like, bro, it's been 2 nights since he said that.
Mm-hmm.
2 whole ass days, 48 hours. You had 2 sleeps.
Yeah.
And
2. And you still went on. And it's not even, the Lakers weren't even playing. I see if the Lakers were playing. They were watching the Timberwolves and whoever the hell else talking about JJ while the highlights roll.
And, like, all you had to do to prove JJ wrong, break down the game that's happening in front of you. That's
John,
it.
I completely agree. Vince Carter is great when he's on Tuesdays.
No, absolutely. Just replace the entire crew at this point. Let's actually have a crew in there that likes hoops.
The problem is, and I know what the problem is because they've always enabled Charles and Shaq's back of the classroom energy that has gotten too out of control.
Yeah. And unfortunately, a lot of fans who do watch Inside the NBA, they watch it because they don't watch games either. So when they watch Inside the NBA, they find it wildly entertaining, which is why it does well ratings-wise. But they're not learning anything watching those two. And that's the problem.
All they learn is that the NBA sucks and everybody shoots too many 3-pointers, apparently.
Right.
And that Derek White has a bad hairline. Yes. That's all we learn.
But it's like the people who don't watch the league will watch them who do nothing but say that. And then those people like go to their TikTok or YouTube channels and just repeat the same thing over and over. And then that's where these narratives come from. Mm-hmm. And like I said, Oscar Robertson, I agreed with him. Like, the game is the game. Like, you watch the game, you enjoy it for what it is. Like, is it perfect? No. But you can't spend every waking moment talking about the same thing over and over and over again. Like, it's not enjoyable for anybody.
Yeah, and the only defense I've ever heard from them was, well, I mean, they're just saying that because the NBA sucks and there's nothing positive about it. It's like, then don't watch it. Like, if you can't find something enjoyable to watch about the NBA, then don't watch.
Yeah.
Because there's still a lot of fun stuff that happens on a play-by-play basis, like all different sorts of plays, screens, helps, edges.
Mm-hmm.
And it's more... And, like, what do you want? You want to go back to the early 2000s? Like, that was some fast-paced, fun stuff? Like, just, hey, dump the ball into the post and everybody just kind of hang around and wait.
Mm-hmm.
Which, there was some fun plays that happened there, too, but the game has evolved and it's just become a lot more sophisticated from that. And everybody just looks at the past with these rose-colored glasses like it was all so perfect. Like, I promise you, watching Speedy Claxton take 21-footers or Avery Bradley make sure his foot on the line before he shoots a long 2 wasn't always entertaining. I promise you. There was something to complain about back then.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Or even going back before that, you want to go back to the days where Mark Jackson would back down a point guard for like 20 seconds? You want to watch that? Sure. That's real exciting. Like NBA fans need to like come off of it, but I mean, it was in San Francisco. Like that's U40's backyard. I guess going back again because we haven't talked about this yet. Since we talked about LeBron being face of the league, old buddy Stephen A. decided to go off today and say, face of the league cannot be an international player. Fair or foul? I thought there's an obvious answer to that, but I just want to throw it out there. And yeah, that's what Stephen A. claims.
Bull.
Okay.
Foul, but not even like a close foul, like right down the line. Like you just popped it up behind home plate, and it was never even close to being fair foul.
That's a strike.
Like,
yes,
the NBA is an international game.
Mm-hmm.
The best players are international. Your best American player isn't a top 4 NBA player, maybe not even a top 5 NBA player. Like, nobody's discussing Jason Tatum, face of the league. Sorry, Kyle, but nobody's discussing Anthony Edwards, face of the league. They did for like a month, but the reality is he's not better than Luka, and he's never probably going to be better than Luka.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going to touch Giannis. Jokic, no shot in hell. I promise you, he probably never even reaches SGA.
Right.
John Morant, that's not going to happen either.
He ruined himself, his case.
Your best American players just aren't good enough. The face of the league should be whoever deserves it and earns it, regardless of where they're from.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, your best players, they're all international. Sorry, Stephen A., but that's the reality. And if the best player and face of the league is international, then we should embrace that.
Yep.
You want the best American-born players? Cut all that crap with AAU in high school and all that BS. Make these kids actually play.
Yes.
At a school.
Yes. And make them deal with, not being on the best team and, having to fight through that. Like, they don't, yeah. And also, Stephen A. can look to his network. The assassination they did on Tatum last year all throughout the playoffs is why he can't be viewed as face of the league. Like, if you look at it on the surface, he's a guy who doesn't get in trouble. He puts up great numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good role model. That's a guy who should be in the conversation. But because of their own doing, nobody would take it seriously if you said Tatum is the face of the league. I agree, like maybe it is SGA because we know Jokic doesn't want it. Like when Jokic season ends, he's like, I'm going to my horses. Like, don't leave me alone. Don't talk to me. I don't know you until the next season starts. I mean, Luka maybe.
Damian.
I'm sure Nico
Really?
would love to see a 270 pound drunk be the face of the league. Like,
the Ball brothers never had a chance to be the face of the league. Not a chance. Even your highest projection of LaMelo never stood a chance, and that was going to be the best Ball brother out of all of them.
Yes. Yeah. It's probably going to be SGA or Luka. Let's be honest.
I say with Stephen A. throwing out this stupid narrative, now they're going to try to push like, oh, it's Anthony Edwards. Like, no, it's not. I promise you, it's not.
He don't want
the NBA tried that last year.
He don't want it. He said that he don't want it.
Yeah. Okay. Trying to see, was there anything else NBA wanted to talk about? Nope, got it all. All right, so NFL. Only thing I have for NFL is T. Higgins going to be franchise tagged. And I think the interesting part of this is the Bengals apparently are franchise tagging him to sign him long term. Believe it when you see it, because we know Mike Brown, the owner, doesn't like to spend money. So if he's going to re-sign T. Higgins, you already have to sign Chase. And they said they're going to try to sign Hendrickson. Mm-hmm. So I guess either Burrow has more pull than we thought, and he's actually changed their minds on keeping them, or this is all talk just to,
This is a whole bunch of smoke.
This is different. Yeah, I'm about to say, do you believe that they're going to sign all three of them?
No. Because if you sign all three, what the hell else are you going to do with that defense?
What's the goal of re-signing all three? Running it back? For what? What does running it back get you?
I guess they better hit on those draft picks.
I think the best course of action, and this might be unpopular with Bengals fans in general, but you let T. Higgins walk. This is a Bengals team that's drafted guys like T. Higgins, like Tyler Boyd. This is a Bengals team that hasn't really had an issue in identifying talent at the wide receiver position. T. Higgins is going to want some big 20, 25, you even see the number $30 million a year contract thrown out. I think you do make a hard call. Let T. Higgins walk. I think they could replace him with somebody cheaper and far more inexpensive in the draft, or maybe even in free agency. They might not be as good as T. Higgins, but getting a rookie receiver this year for, let's say, $5 million a year is a lot better than getting T for like 25 or 30.
Considering that they need help on the defensive line, the secondary sucks.
Mm-hmm.
The offensive line can use some help as well.
They just have too many holes, and it feels like just them locking themselves into pretty much just drafting 7 guys and running it back. Just sounds awful.
Yeah.
If you want to keep getting in the shootouts and losing versus Baltimore, be my guest.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see if it pans out. Like I said, I don't agree. I mean, not that I don't agree. I don't think they sign everybody. Look, maybe what they're trying to do here is you put the tag on Higgins, which they're going to do the non-exclusive, which means if another team approaches him with a contract and he decides to sign it, you have to give Cincinnati 2 first-round picks. So they're assuming by putting the tag on him, teams stay away, and maybe they think they could beat Higgins down a little bit off his number. Which, good luck trying that. That is a strategy to try.
Yeah.
I think that gets messy.
If I'm Higgins, I say no. Right. I know how much you need me. I know my worth. No.
Yeah. I'm not signing that paper.
Yeah.
I'll come back, but you're paying me at my number. I ain't coming down to yours.
Yeah. So then now they're looking at, do they get Burrow to restructure, or can they get Chase to come down off his number? You could have gotten Chase cheaper last year. You said no. He goes and has the season he has. His number probably went up, and I doubt he's going to come down off of that.
Mm-hmm.
So unless you get Burrow to restructure some crazy amount where you get a lot of cap relief, I don't see it. Maybe John's onto it. Maybe they sign Higgins and Chase. They let Hendrickson go. Maybe try to replace him in the draft, and then use some money maybe on the secondary.
The thing is, defensively, their drafting has been terrible.
Yeah.
They can draft
Who's their last notable draft pick? Eli Apple?
Probably Jesse Bates.
See? They've been terrible at drafting and keeping the defensive players that they need.
The keeping part, yeah. I thought DJ Reader was there. Yeah, they drafted DJ Reader.
He's a Lion.
But I think the Bengals drafted him only to not pay him when they needed to, so then he left.
Exactly.
So that's kind of been the problem, is they just let defensive guys walk because they
don't want to pay them.
Yeah. Okay.
Did you mention Mr. Discount Double Fraud being the cut?
We did not. We did not. Let's go into it. So the Jets have made it known that come March 6th or whatever the new league starts, Rodgers will be cut. Some think Adams will be cut too or something like that, or whatever. So it looks like both guys won't be Jet players next year. Obviously, I feel like you both will probably say the Jets are making the right move in cutting Rodgers. Or maybe not. Do you think it was the right move?
Of course. Why would they were like, there's only one Aaron around here that is going to be calling shots, and it is not Mr. Ayahuasca and Caterpillars. Mm-hmm. It's not him.
Yeah.
I think the problem is this, right? I think Aaron Rodgers was too easy of a scapegoat. Mm-hmm. They're pinning everything like, hey, Aaron's gone. Now, all of our problems will be solved. No. then not everything will be solved. You're still going to have issues like your owner
Mm-hmm.
sucks,
Mhm.
your front office it's at times like they're actually very good drafters, but they keep missing in free agency with like most of their picks. And obviously, they're just basic cultural issues that start from the top. And while I think Rodgers and the Jets parting ways is the right
Mhm.
call, I think that if you're a Jets fan and you think this solves all your
No.
issues, it's foolish.
Yeah.
It doesn't. You still have to completely reset the
Mm-hmm.
culture. Oh, John, don't give Jory a heart attack.
Oh, I already mentioned that last week.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to address that again.
Um, yeah. So I mean, look, the Rogers sweepstakes, if there is one, will begin once the new league year starts. But I do agree. Is it the right move? Yes. Look, if you're Garrett Wilson, you're loving this because Garrett Wilson looked miserable last
Mhm.
year dealing with Aaron Rodgers. But just getting rid of Aaron Rodgers is only half the problem. Who are you replacing him with?
Yeah, the Jets are going to be terrible next year. Let's be real.
Hey, it's another team to finish below the Patriots. So we're moving up slowly each day. Miami, we're coming for you.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm not tagging Darnold either. To be fair,
Darnold back to the Jets, where it began to see ghosts again. Let's go. I think the Colts are in play. The Colts now all of a sudden are like skeptical on Anthony Richardson. I don't know. Maybe they should have listened to
That is
anybody
something that Jim
before
Irsay
they
would do.
drafted him. That would
That
be an
is
Irsay
something
move.
Irsay would do.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like it. Listen, he's just got to complete the Brett Favre trajectory. Rodgers to the Vikings. Pencil it in already.
I mean, I'd rather start JJ McCarthy, but I guess.
I don't think. I think you do sign another veteran if you're the Vikings, because I'm not going to bank on JJ McCarthy being ready. This is a guy who has had 3 preseason starts that missed the entire
Mhm.
year. So I think maybe another year's just sitting in the system would just help him immensely. So if I were them, maybe consider signing another low money vet like they did with Darnold
Go
last year.
get Will.
I mean, they could. Okay. I mean, coming down to the end. So we're gonna do this where we used to do a little fun thing to end the show with. I have one for tonight. I guess if you guys need pen and paper or whatever, feel free to grab it because it's a build a lineup. So I'm gonna put it up and give you guys a chance to kind of fill your lineup up. Uh, as John asked this question, what are the 49ers going to do with Purdy? I mean, get Rodgers for cheap 1 year, maybe.
They're going to pay Purdy.
They better
Wait a
pay
minute.
Purdy.
Yeah.
After all Purdy's done for them, if they just kind of kicked him to the curb, that would be kind of bogus.
So, yeah, I think he stays there. Debo, on the other hand, we'll see. Debo is available.
Yeah. They got to get Debo off the team.
Because he's about to start causing some trouble.
Exactly. All right, so let me see. Which window is it? Here we go. So you have $15 to build your lineup. I'll give you a few moments to decide who you're taking. I'm going to write down mine as well. Anthony says Pittsburgh doesn't have a quarterback on their roster for 2025. I think they signed Fields. They'll draft one. They'll fix that quickly. I guess let me know when you have your lineup.
Oh, I'm good.
Give me a second.
Yeah, you're good.
I'm extra.
I mean, chat. I guess chat. You can listen to our lineups and tell us whose lineup you think would do the best, and you can put your own out there as well. And like I said, with the NFL season kind of being basically over until we get big free agency news, I think we'll start back ending our show with something a little fun. I have a good idea how I'm going to do this one as well. So,
There's a couple of steals on here that's always tempting.
yes.
Especially at quarterback for $1.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's yes. So I guess we'll see if any of us come with the same lineup. I'm gonna assume it's probably a little different between us. Um,
This is hard. Hold on.
I thought it would be fun. Yeah. Say, chat, you get $15 to work with here. Okay, I got it. Okay. Okay. Well, I mean, Anthony went without a tight end. I guess that's a choice.
Hey, Scary Terry at tight end. Let's do it.
Yeah. I guess you technically could.
All right, I'm ready.
Okay. And Brett said, well, Brett, I guess since you were the first one ready, we'll let you go first.
All right. Burrow's tempting, but I gotta stick with the guy who's on a GOAT trajectory. So at $3, I'm taking Patrick Mahomes.
Okay.
Give me Bijan Robinson for $1.
Okay.
For $5, give me Jamar Chase. For $1, give me Lad McConkey, and then for $5, give me Brock Bowers.
Okay. A different approach. Okay. Well, John's got his team in here. Burrow, Laporta, McLaurin, Gibbs. Wait, you went with like how many players here? Yeah, it's only 5 players, John. You're trying to stack your line.
Now you doing this to Chris Paul.
I mean, John went bargain hunting and filled it out with the $15. So 5 players for $15. I should have said that. So I guess you can resubmit. All right, so Brett went Mahomes, Bijan, Chase, McConkey, Bowers. I like McConkey for $1 too. I think that's a really good deal.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Jory, what you got? Yes, John, I said $15. It has to be 5 players: quarterback, a running back, 2 wide receivers, and a tight end. If you want to do like Anthony and do 3 wide receivers instead of a tight end, that's fine. I know it's creative. You got a lot of players for $15. John public school, that was more than $15. I didn't even add it up, so let's see. 4, 8, 11. No, he had $15.
No, he got 15. You went to public school, Anthony.
Yeah, John had 15. John, we got you. We got your back.
You went to Cranbrook. That's a private school. Sorry.
John just went, well, I got coupons, Betty. I'm thinking more. All right, Jory, who you got?
I got Burrow.
Okay.
I got Derek. And of course, I had to go get my running back.
I knew it, yeah.
Jefferson.
Okay.
McLaurin. And McConkey. And I know I didn't use my whole $15.
Okay, so you trying to pocket money. Okay. So Burrow, Henry, Jefferson, McLaurin, and McConkey, you said?
Yep.
Okay. I mean, that's interesting as well. Okay. I went Burrow, Jacobs, Chase, Jefferson, McBride. I like Trey McBride.
I
I
was
was
gonna pick him.
I almost went with Gibbs and then I would swap McBride for Laporta, but I thought I'd take Jacobs and then get McBride.
I I would say I thought about going I thought about going a Laporta at one and then just going Chase Jefferson, but I know how well Patrick Mahomes works with the tight end, so I'm like, you know what? Chase and Ladd, good enough. Give me Brock Bowers.
And now Anthony says he was homeschooled. All right, so John has Burrow, Laporta, Henry, Chase, St. Brown. It's not a bad one. Okay. I guess you guys let us know which lineup you think would be best. I'll remind you all once again. Brett went Mahomes, Bijan, Bowers, Chase, McLaurin. No, McConkey. Sorry,
Oh, my
McConkey.
lineup? Oh,
Yeah,
McConkey, yeah.
Jory went Burrow, Henry, which you're going to take King Derek. Jefferson, McLaurin, McConkey. Right?
I'm just now noticing Puka. Where's my glasses?
Puka at 4 is great.
Yeah.
I don't know. When it comes to value hunting these, I feel like Ladd getting an 1,000-yard receiver at $1, that's tough, especially pairing him with like Jamar Chase.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think the other lineup I thought about was Hurts at $2. I think I thought it was like Hurts. Was it Hurts Gibbs? No, I can't remember. I had a lineup with Hurts. I can't remember who else I filled it with. But Burr at $1 was too tempting.
The other one I had another one thought of, and I really thought about. I thought this one would have been fun too. Then get Barkley and Chase for $5 each, and then George Kittle for $3.
That's not bad either. Anthony says Burrow, so that's $1. Barkley, so you're up to 6. St. Brown 10. Kittle 13. Scary Terry 15. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to really come up with a terrible lineup for this. I mean, I guess it's no shock that neither Jory or I went with Lamar.
I wasn't picking that one.
How the challenge? If you had to build one with Lamar, how would you do it?
Let's see, $4 with Lamar. I'm absolutely maxing out on tight end and running back. So
Lamar, Derek, that's 8.
Okay.
Plus Kittle, that's 11.
Mm-hmm.
Give me McBride,
Okay.
that's 13. And CeeDee Lamb.
CeeDee Lamb seems like a Lamar type of wide receiver.
yeah, I think that's probably the most fair one with
That's right. That's
Lamar,
probably really
Henry,
good.
Kittle. Let's see.
Nobody picked Hurts. Yeah, I had a lineup for Hurts. I'm trying to remember what it was.
I'd probably do like CeeDee Lamb and Terry McLaurin. Then I have 2 threats on the outside that can both work over the middle too.
He doesn't use 2 on the outside. He uses 1 and 2 tight ends in the middle.
Right.
Derrick
You know who might
Henry.
be the best fit with Lamar? It was like Drake London.
Lamar, Henry, Jameer Gibbs. Let's just load it up. Say George Kittle, Sam Laporta. There we go. $5 entire lineup of straight running backs and tight ends.
Yeah, pretty much. Why not? Lamar, Henry, Neighbors, Kittle, Laporta.
Neighbors is gonna get mad.
Neighbors, I don't know.
He gonna get mad.
Yeah, but okay. Yeah, I know. Look, we're gonna go ahead and end it there. Like I said, here on out, I feel like we'll start ending our shows with a little fun. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed that one. And do this right here. Yep. So yeah, it may not necessarily be build a lineup. I might do like a Sporkle quiz or something for you guys to try to fill out. I'll think of something every week. But I guess before we get out of here, Brett, you kind of want to let them know where they can find you, what you got coming up tonight.
Y'all can catch me on the Meaty Boys podcast. It'll be coming up in actually a couple of minutes here. I'm probably going to let my dogs out, and then I'll get it rolling. So you can catch me on the Wire to Wire podcast network for the Meaty Boys podcast.
All right. Appreciate that, Brett. Jory, like I said, at this point, it's been 3 straight weeks. You are a member of the show at this point. You do know that.
At this point.
Yeah. So let them know where they can find you.
You know where you can find me on Jory Sports Stories. I have some content coming soon. If not within these days, then within the next 10 days, because you already know what I got going on. But you can catch me over on Jory Sports Stories. I do have a article that should be out on the Passion and Precision blog by tomorrow or Friday. One of those days. But yeah, catch me over there, or you can catch me over here on Friday. Probably Friday or Saturday with Passion and Precision, of course.
Y'all team who you want to pick on who. John, we'll say that for next week. We'll start looking at our teams in our off season. So
it's February.
I know, but it'll be fun just to we'll either do that next week or we'll at least do something like free agency based. Like
I'm so sick and tired of mock damn drafts. Titans fans been posting mock drafts since damn October.
I'm not gonna lie, I've been going crazy with mock drafts like all weekend. So
I've heard it all season. We're not gonna do anything. Here's my draft. Nobody cares about your stupid ass draft, bro.
Yeah, Brett.
That's horrible and unrealistic.
Exactly. Like, and trust me, we will do because we did this last year. We did mock drafts here on the show. We usually wait until like mid-March to do our first one. So, Jory, that's something you definitely join in on. We'll let you obviously be the Titans in the draft. I'll be the Patriots. Brett will be the Packers. Usually have a lot of fun with that. But I think next week maybe we can come in with like a free agency wish list or something like that. We can do that.
I'm sick of them drafts. I've been seeing them for 6 months straight.
Fans go crazy with mock drafts. That's
especially of losing teams.
Yeah. Sitting at the number 1 pick, like you can go crazy with it. Because I love the ones where you get the offers of the trades and everything, and I start really getting in my bag with that. So, so you can definitely look out for that. John, I will say we'll answer at least that question next week about. So I guess Jory, you'd answer. What would you do at number 1? Who would you take? Would you trade it? I'll answer about the Pats at number 4. I can't remember who the Packers picked, but we'll ask Brett that. So John, make sure you come back and ask the question again next week. Big dude from LSU. I am starting to watch a little stuff on him. I'm intrigued by him. But for me, make sure you go over to Chomping at the Bit. Find my stuff over there. I recently did a video on the Celtics and contenders. So you can check that out. I should have another video up tomorrow. I am going to do an article on, All-Star Weekend on our Passion and Precision blog. So obviously you can find me along with Jory Friday or Saturday here on the network. And that's all I got for you. So appreciate all of you for tuning in. Make sure you come back next week. Tuesday, 7 o'clock for another edition of the On the Ball podcast. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your night. Be safe. We'll see you.